Okay, I'm loosening this bolt here that holds the connector in. I've already disconnected the battery again. I think it's a 6mm. It's like a 6.5 or something. It's like a weird size. But I got it loose enough where I can unscrew it by hand, I think. Okay, I've gone ahead and disconnected it. So this one was pretty straightforward. Just have to use this 5.5mm to take this one out, and then just it pops out by itself. Oh, this one doesn't go here. This one goes here, okay? So this one goes right here, okay? That one is totally out. That one's totally out. This one, I can only get it out that far. It is so tight in there, the wiring. I don't know how they did this, man, but I was able to pop it out enough where, like, you know, I don't think it's seated, so it should be good. I had to loosen this, so I took these 4 bolts out, the J plug, okay? Can't get the whole thing out there. I don't know how they put all this thing together, man. It's ridiculous how they get all that wiring in there, man. It's so tight in there. Okay, so yeah, so this one is definitely disconnected. This one is definitely disconnected. This one I have it far enough where, like, I think you can see the connector almost. It's not connected, so okay. I had to pry on it. I pried on it with a what's the word? With one of these guys. I pried on it with this. Okay, I made sure it was plastic. So, but yeah, I was able to get it out. So tomorrow I will plug everything back in, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so shouldn't be too hard. I think you just plug that back in, and then tighten it with the. Actually, the screwdriver helped with this one. I was able to just get it in right here. You can't see it, but that one was actually not too hard. But there's just so much stuff crammed in the back there, so I had to pry that one out. This one came out pretty easily once I unbolted the J plug receptacle. Okay, and then we'll just plug that back in, tighten this one again. I guess we might be able to use this. Oh no, this is kind of in the way. We'll have to use the wrench for that one, and then put this one is pretty straightforward. So everything's on top. Okay, I think this is the AIM. This is the one that everything in the bike is plugged into. Okay, this is like the brain. This is kind of like the brain of the bike, and then this is like everything that has to do with the battery is this one here. This is kind of like what is it? It's called a VCU, vehicle control unit. I guess this is the one that kind of ties the controller and the battery and all that stuff together. Okay, and then the BMS I think is inside the battery, so it's that I can't do anything about that, man. So I don't want to. Okay. Only people from Bramo that work on Bramo stuff, you know, should know that stuff. So okay, so yeah, so there's that. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll plug it in. We'll turn it on again and see what happens. And then if it's still dead in the water, then next week we'll take it to Clausen Motorsports. Okay, so hopefully this works. If it gets started again, then we won't have to go there 100 miles. Okay, but after this attempt here, I will just put everything back together. Okay, yeah. So kind of what the heck, man. All right, here's Mig out. Alright, here's Meg here. It's the next day, and we're gonna go plug in all this, the VCU and the AIM back in, and hopefully something good will happen. I hope. But I have some good news, and after we put all this stuff back together, I will go over it. So it has to do about getting the bike in the shop, okay, type of thing. Alright, so anyway, yeah, so I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to shove this one back in, okay? So, I'll see if I can kind of get it on video. So, all I can say is, it is amazing how they got all this stuff in there, dude. Everything is so tight. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug this right cable in on the AIM module, okay? I think this is the AIM, and I think this one is the VCU. I'm not 100%. So if you guys don't remember what these guys do, one of these is where it's like the central like kind of relay unit is what it is. All the lights, all the electronics tie into one of these. It's what's called an auxiliary input module. Okay, and then the other one is a vehicle control unit, and that has to do with like the powertrain and stuff. It's the central kind of processing unit for like the battery and the motor and all that stuff. It's what ties everything together. Okay, it's very, both of these boxes are very important. Okay, so that's why I didn't want to mess around with them. All right, so anyway, we're gonna go ahead and plug this one in as far as we can. Okay, and then I'm gonna go try to move this one back in. It's amazing how I got all this stuff out of here. Okay. Put that down here. Okay, and there's a bolt that use it to plug it in. Okay. Okay, and I want to go get the so what helps a lot when taking these out is a 5.5 millimeter socket, okay, on one of these screwdriver dealies, okay. It actually makes it pretty easy. So you just stick this in here and make sure you disconnect the power, or else it's a how much voltage? 100 volts? Yeah, I think they said anything over 50 volts is dangerous. So yeah, I want to be careful. Okay, so now I kind of messed up. I should have tightened this one first. Yeah. Okay. Start tightening this so the plug will actually not go in. The plug won't go in until you tighten it, okay? Just make it nice and snug. Okay, I think that should be fine. And then we'll go put this one back in. So there's a certain sequence to how you gotta put all this stuff together. Okay, very nice plugs though. I have to say the craftsmanship, you know, of all the parts on this bike are very, very nice. I never worked on a Zero, but I don't think the Zeros are as nice as this. Okay, this one will go all the way. I need a longer screwdriver for this one. I didn't use this. Da-da-da! I got a longer screwdriver now. It's called an extension. All right. And I know 5.5 millimeter, what an odd size, right? There we go. Okay. Very easy to get back in. Could be one of these got loose, you know? Could happen. Alright. Nice and snug. Okay, and then now we will go plug in the AIM module, the VCU. Do it by hand as much as I can. Okay, this one, we can kind of just do it with the socket and a ratchet. Yeah, this bracket is the problem here. But. Okay, this one I want to be careful because don't want to over torque it. You do want to make sure it's tight. Just going to do it until it kind of stops. Okay, there we go. All right, and then I got to go put all these bolts back in. Okay, helps if you have the proper tool. They seem to have put a lot of goop on them to keep them from coming off. It's definitely something that you would use very often, as every time you ride the bike you need to charge it, right? Still has held up pretty well over the years. I do hear these sometimes have problems, so. Okay, the last thing I disconnected was this power let. Actually, let's not plug that in quite yet. Okay, so now what Hades Omega is going to do is we are going to plug the bike back in. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to plug the main disconnect here. Get a nice little spark there. Okay, fire the bike back up. Okay, bike turns on. Looks normal enough. It still says please wait. Yep, no change. Yep, system fault B40. Okay, then back to 91%. You know, that state of charge gauge is never freaking right, man. It's not. I could have sworn it said 86 the last time I looked at it. You know, it's always 100 when I first turn it on. Okay, so I will. Let's get the bike off the kickstand first. Okay, and nothing, no power. Dead bike. Okay. Well, not dead, but not running. Non-running bike. Okay. All right. So that's it. That's the last attempt at me trying to get this bike started. I'm not gonna do any more. I'm gonna put the bike back together, and we are going to take it to Clausen Motorsports, and I will talk about that right now. Okay. All right, here's me go. Hey, Mick here. So I just unplugged the AIM module, the auxiliary input module, and the VCU, the vehicle control unit, and I unplugged them and I plugged them back in, and then I disconnected the power to the bike. Well, we disconnected the power first. That's what you're supposed to do, and then we plugged it all back in just now. Tried to fire the bike up, and it still doesn't run. So. I'm kind of at a loss. There's nothing else I can do. I think it is a problem with the battery. I think that's the problem. So there are two. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last video, in any of the previous videos, but there are two of these LED lights. Okay, there's one right here. Okay, this one, see, as you can see, is not doing anything. Okay, they're green lights. Now, I believe the Bramo has something like that, but the battery is very different on the Bramos. Okay, these are Bramo batteries, but okay, so there's this one right here. See, this one blinks green. See, blink, 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 blink. So that could indicate maybe there's something wrong with this battery, or there's nothing wrong with this battery. It's one of the two. The service manual doesn't mention anything having to do with troubleshooting the batteries. There must be a separate manual for that, because I don't got it. Okay, you have to be some kind of Bramo technician to be able to work on these batteries. Okay, but honestly, if it's like any other battery, it's freaking, there's battery packs inside, and they're wired in series or parallel, and there's a BMS, a little computer that monitors them, and this one's a little more complicated. It's got a little more wires and stuff sticking out of it. Obviously, it's got this light. It's got this connector going in here. Okay, I shouldn't be touching any of these wires because they're orange, right? So that means they're high voltage. So if you look here, this is a negative, right? So this is a negative, and this goes to the pack positive. So this is what links your lower pack to your upper pack in series. So you got your negative to the positive, so that's in the series. All right, and then your main power, it gets the main power from somewhere. I'm not really sure where it's connected, honestly, but and those would go to the controller that's down here. Okay, so I'm learning more stuff about this bike. That's the good thing about, since I've been taking it apart. So but yeah, inside here is the actual connector that you would take out. So but I honestly, doesn't seem like there's much wrong with the battery, other than that I think it's the BMS. It's the little computer inside that monitors the battery modules inside. I think there's something wrong with that, or something happened to it. Something happened to the bike while it was charging. That's what I'm thinking. Because it ran fantastically the day before this all happened, and then the next day it just didn't work anymore. And the bike seems like it functions properly. All the lights and stuff turn on. It doesn't really seem like there's anything wrong with the bike. It just won't run. Okay, so I'm kind of at a loss. I don't know what to do. I need to find somebody that knows how to work on this. Okay, and so that will lead me to the next video. But yeah, I did notice that there's a blinky light. See, there's a green blinky light there, and there's no blinky light on the top battery pack. And if you guys are wondering how much power this pack has, it's 60 volts, 59.2 volts nominal and 100 amp hours. Can you believe this battery pack is putting out, okay, so 60 volts. Suron Lightbeat, here we go. This battery pack. This is a 60 volt pack. This is only 30 amp hours. Can you believe that? Yeah, this battery is this 60 volts and 30 amp hours. So if you look at this, compared to this battery, okay, it's very much smaller, that's for sure. It's much longer and it's much wider, and it holds much more power. This pack alone, the bigger pack, has 3 times the density of this. It's like as if, yeah, it's as if you put 3 of these batteries together, you cram them in there, okay? I'm not really sure what kind of cells are inside this Bramo battery pack, but I believe they're pouch cells. They use the little skinny pouch cells, kind of like a cell phone battery, I guess. These use 18650s, okay? The good thing is that this is probably a lot easier to troubleshoot than that. I've abused these batteries quite a bit, and the BMS does its job. If anything, it's a lot more like this one. If this one is 60 volts, that means this one is about 40 volts, okay? Because they're in series, and it's about 110 volts, I think, total. So this one's probably more like 50 volts. So this one is probably more like this one. I do not know how many amp hours it is. I would have to subtract 100 amp hours from something, but all I can say is, dude, the amount of energy these 2 batteries can store is freaking amazing, okay? The density, how heavy, how much space it takes up, Like I said, this one pack on the top is already 3 of these batteries put together, so I'm telling you this, it's got like twice the density. It is amazing the technology on this bike. And just think about it, this technology is already like 10 years old already. It's almost a decade old. This bike surely was ahead of its time, okay? But nowadays it's not so much, is what I want to say. But still, this bike was ahead of its time, I'll tell you that. It definitely, they were giving Zero a run for their money type of thing. So I feel that the build quality is much better on this bike than the Zero bikes, even close to that of the Energica, is what I want to say. Made in America too, okay? But I guess, made in America can only get you so much nowadays. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. That's all I can figure out. The BMS in one of these, I think it's this battery. This battery might be bad, okay? Something is wrong with it, and so I can't do anything about it. I don't have the diagnostic equipment or the technical skills to work on this. It's so complicated. I looked at the manual. You can't just slap on a different motor. You got to put in a different motor, and you got to tune it to the bike. It has something called an encoder here, okay? This guy knows how much, where the position of the motor is every time, and it has to be like there's a special tuning, or it has to be in sync with the controller and everything. Yeah, it is a very complicated bike, okay? But it's a pretty amazing piece of technology, and I'm trying to keep this on the road. That's what I would say. Okay, anyway, so let's get back to like what's going to happen next.